Hello everyone! Finally, the finish of KogaGoshi plotline is here. I know, it took so long, but hey, it's here and it's going to be sweet. So I hope you will enjoy. As always, special thanks to my lovely patrons. You are keeping this channel going. He knew something was wrong the moment he entered their apartment. If he somehow developed a sixth sense in the time Goshiki had been unwell, or if the atmosphere was just that much staggering, Kogane wasn't sure. But it didn't really matter in the end. What mattered was the fact his boyfriend was suffering, and he had about enough. He held Goshiki as close to him as possible as his whole body retched with uncontrolled sobs, barely holding back his own tears the longer he listened to his beloved's rattled apologies for something that wasn't even his fault. For something he could never blame him for. He wished he could take some invisible scissors and cut off the guilt weighing on Goshiki's mind, to finally free him of the fear and anxiety he carried with him ever since their argument. But it wasn't that easy, and all he could do was to hold Goshiki close. That, and finally put an end to the bastard who dared to make Goshiki feel even worse. I'll do my best, I swear. Despite everything, Kogane cracked a small smile. You already do that, but I need you to answer me something, and to tell me the truth. He could feel Goshiki freeze in his arms, but it didn't seem like he was in panic. Okay. Kogane pulled away a bit, only to comfortably see into Goshiki's face, but could still pull him under his chin if necessary. It was now or never, and he wasn't one to let an opportunity escape him. Who told you that would take too long? And all the other things too. Because this wasn't the only thing, was it? Of course, he knew the answer already. He had spent the last months playing a detective, searching and asking questions that almost never brought the answers he needed. But luck was on his side in the end, and he got a name. Two, actually. He just wanted to know if Goshiki would tell him. If he realized what the two men did to his psyche. Unsurprisingly, Goshiki averted his eyes, his grip on the back of Kogane's t-shirt tightening. Does it matter? Of course it matters. Look at how rattled you are today. I hate seeing you so jumpy all the time, and I hate the fact there are people making you doubt yourself so much. He carefully took Goshiki's face in his palms again, turning his head back so that he had nowhere to run away to. I want to help Tsu, but I can't if you don't let me. Please, let me take care of this. Asking so directly moved him on a thin ice. He was very much aware of that. But his patience had limits, and he definitely didn't want to see Goshiki cry again. Unless it will be tears of joy. The despair appearing on Goshiki's face made his chest constrict. Kanji, that's not a good idea. What if you get into trouble because of it? It's a team issue. So you are aware they are pieces of shit. Yeah, that's why I want to help. It might be better if it comes from me as an outsider. And I doubt your coach will just leave it be. Kanji, please no. It's not that big of a deal. I'm fine. Really. Kogane clenched his jaw, having to use all his willpower not to sound annoyed. Why do you always refuse my help? Because I'm worried about you. Tears spilled from Goshiki's eyes again, and Kogane froze, his mind taking a moment to comprehend his boyfriend's words. Goshiki quickly looked away, hastily wiping his eyes. Just remember how it ended last time. You were getting death threats the whole month after Wada was let go from the team. He looked up again, his eyes glossed over, but sincere. I don't want you to get in trouble because of me if something like that happened again. And then it finally clicked with Kogane. He sighed and pulled Goshiki to his chest again, a new determination settling in his mind. His plan wasn't going to change. Nothing could do that unless someone hit him with a car or shot him. But Goshiki's worry about him still made his heart flutter, supporting his decision like nothing else. Because as long as he could shift the target from Goshiki's back to his, things had hope to get better. But I'm still here, right? Despite the threats. And I'll still be here, no matter what. Kanji! Don't worry about me. I can take care of myself. He caressed Goshiki's cheek, wiping away the wet trails in the process. Just go to practice like you would normally do tomorrow and leave the rest to me, okay? I promise I'll be careful. And that this whole thing will end. It didn't seem to calm Goshiki down too much, but at least there were no new tears rolling down his face. Kogane was going to take that as a little personal victory. He pressed a kiss to Goshiki's forehead, slowly rocking them from side to side, already weaving a plan for tomorrow. It took him a lot of convincing in the morning to get Goshiki go to practice. In the end, he made Kogane promise he wasn't going to do anything dumb before reluctantly packing his sports bag and leaving the apartment. Fortunately, Kogane wasn't going to break the promise. After all, he wasn't doing anything stupid, just taking care of some trash. He waited for about an hour or so before he packed his things too, hiding a little, unassuming box in his pocket along the way, and made his way to the Rockets' home gymnasium. Memories from the last time he came into the gymnasium outside match times flooded his mind as soon as he entered through the glass door, making him subconsciously clench his hands into fists. He wished he could get a second round with the guy, preferably somewhere away from the eyes of the security cameras, but that wasn't why he was here that day. He got his vengeance for that one, to some extent anyway. This was a different situation. But with exactly the same trash. He settled on one of the benches near the team's changing rooms, listening to the faint sounds of voices and balls hitting the floor. He couldn't tell what the voices were saying, but the fact that he couldn't hear Goshiki's voice like he used to sank his heart. It seemed like there was much more that changed since their argument. Damn this. One moment of weakness in our relationship, that's all it took. He carefully turned the little box in his fingers, resisting the urge to open it. Not now. There's going to be a better time. His eyes snapped up when he heard a deep voice shout over all the others, letting him know the practice was coming to an end. He gathered his bag but stayed seated, knowing the players were going to see him there. Sure enough, a few minutes later, the large door leading to the gymnasium opened and the team rushed outside. Kogane nodded at Harada, one of their wing spikers who was his primary source of information about the team, a silent understanding flashing between them. He then felt another set of eyes on him and glanced over to the back, giving Goshiki a reassuring smile. It seemed to have little to no effect on Goshiki, starting panic already visible in his posture. The sight made Kogane's resolution waver a bit. It's okay, it will be over soon and then we can finally work on getting back on track properly. And so he got up, sending a quick prayer to the deities before he put on his most love-struck grin he could and headed to his boyfriend. Hey Tsu, how was practice? Everything okay? Goshiki stammered, but still returned the hug Kogane wrapped him in, albeit a bit hesitantly. Yeah, everything went well today. What are you doing here? I thought... I'm here to pick you up. We said we'll go have lunch together today, remember? Oh, did we? Okay, well, just wait for me to change? Sure thing. Glad that Goshiki played along, he raised his eyes to the others in the hallway. While most only gave them a mere glance or a knowing smile, there were two pairs of eyes now buried into his back. Kobayashi and opposite. Makino, backup libero. Just who he was looking for. He threw them the most shit-eating grin he could muster without actually sneering at them. Can we help you, perhaps? He felt Goshiki go still in his arms and gently squeezed his shoulder. Oh, no, I was just wondering what business you have with our spiker right after practice. Yeah, Goshiki didn't tell you can't just walk in here as you please? He gave Goshiki a look that made Kogane want to snap his neck there and then. It causes trouble. Kogane clenched his jaw but managed to keep the grin on his face. No worries, I'm not staying for long. As I said, I'm just picking Tsu up since we have plans for today. Not that anyone needs to know about our personal affairs, right? He couldn't keep the edge out of his voice this time, but it didn't really matter. He gently nudged Goshiki towards the changing rooms. Go change, okay? I'll wait for you right here. Goshiki nodded abruptly and quickly walked past the two men, throwing one last uncertain look in his direction. Well, if you really intend to just pick our little Goshiki up, I suppose we can let it slide. It's not like you would be able to get intel on your opponents here anyway. Kogane ignored the dig and instead stepped into the man's path when they tried to walk around him. Actually, I wanted to have a word with you. About? My boyfriend. And your behavior to him. What about that? Unable to keep the smile up anymore, Kogane clenched his jaw and stepped closer to fully utilize his height and build, satisfaction rushing through his veins upon seeing the man recoil ever so slightly. I'll only warn you once, so listen carefully. If you ever say a single word to Tsutomu that will make him feel bad about himself again, I'll make sure you get a very, very long pause from playing volleyball. Understood? Makino straightened up a bit, still missing good 10 centimeters on Kogane. Don't mingle into things that don't concern you. What ground do you have here to threaten us, huh? You think I'll get scared just because you rattled to the coach once already? A feral grin split Kogane's face. I can assure you there will be no telling coach this time. He leaned more into the man's personal space. I know exactly what you are doing. How you are trying to get Tsutomu leave the team by destroying his self-esteem. And I warn you, pull this crap once more, and I'll make sure you won't play in any team ever again. He straightened again, still burning holes into the two with his eyes. Also, I'm not afraid to show the management the messages you sent him. Or let them listen to what you've been telling him for the last few months. He raised his phone. Every word you've said or sent him is here. And I'm sure if I ask nicely, others will be happy to add their experience too. So I'll say it one more time. Hurt Tsutomu again, and we'll have a big problem. Understood? Silence settled in the hallway. Not that Kogane waited for them to actually nod and admit defeat, but the way their faces scrunched in a grimace was satisfying enough. Everything okay? His smile turned much softer when he looked at Goshiki standing a bit uncertainly to the side. He reached for his hand, giving it a light squeeze. Great timing, love. Everything is fine, no worries. He glanced at the two, an idea starting to born in his head. Oh, I almost forgot. I have something for you before we go. He reached into his pocket, letting the box rest on his palm for a moment before he opened the lid. Would you do me the honor and marry me? Goshiki froze in place. His eyes widened like two plates when his gaze fell on the ring comfortably nested on a velvety cushion inside the box. The little light coming in through the windows made the halo of tiny diamonds glimmer, the shine only enhancing the dark blue sapphire set in the center of it. Goshiki's mouth opened and closed a few times without any words coming out, and Kogane would lie if he said the weight didn't make him a bit nervous. He didn't plan on proposing in a gymnasium hallway. Maybe not even that day yet, since they didn't really talk about marriage at all. Do you mean that? Of course. I wouldn't joke about something like this. The man next to them cleared his throat. Well, we won't bother you in this personal moment. Take care, Goshiki. Their leave as if broke some invisible barrier that built itself around them. Goshiki took a deep breath before lightly running his fingers over the ring. Genji, I don't know what to say. Kogane's heart sank. Yes or no, I suppose? I'm sorry I threw it at you like this. I just really wanted you to know I'm not planning on leaving you. But it's fine if you don't want this, or if you had a different vision. I planned a much better proposal, so if you need some time to think about it, we can... He didn't get further, silenced by the softest touch of Goshiki's lips on his own. It's fine. It surprised me, that's all. He pulled away a bit and cleared his throat, an expression Kogane could only describe as wonderstruck settling on his face. Though Kogane didn't miss the light tremble in his hand, nor how his eyes glossed over. Can you ask me again? Please? Will you marry me? The smile he got in answer melted his heart. I will. It would make me the happiest person in the world. All tension gathered around Kogane's chest immediately dissipated, replaced by relief and an immense amount of happiness. He took Goshiki's hand and carefully slid the ring on his finger, mesmerized by how good it looked settled on his beloved's hand. And he didn't seem to be alone. It's beautiful. I'm happy you like it. It took a while before I found one that would fit you. He bit his lip, a tiny bit of nervousness returning. I wanted to give you a diamond at first because you deserve the best there is. But we talked about it with the appraiser and we agreed it would be better to choose a stone with meaning. He ran his thumb over the ring. This is sapphire. It symbolizes commitment and everlasting bond, and should help build self-confidence and positive thinking. I thought it would fit us since, you know, I'm planning on staying by your side forever, without a hitch and no matter what. He panicked a bit when tears spilled from Goshiki's eyes, but the unusually bright smile and the firm hug he was now engulfed in let him know he didn't have to worry. He returned the embrace, bringing Goshiki as close as physically possible, and enjoyed the serene moment filled with happiness that came after oh so long. I'm planning to do the same. That's good to hear. But I meant it that I had much better proposal in mind. So if you want, I can do it again. It's not... Once again, he was silenced with a kiss. His heart fluttered. This was perfect. Are you sure? I am. It's the thought that counts, right? Kogane grinned, happy like never before as he squeezed Goshiki in his arms. Right. This is the ring, by the way, for illustration purposes, when I spend so much time looking them up. I really like this one.